Hello, my name is Joseph Stubbe, and I'm here today to discuss arachnoiditis. I suffer from this. It is a spinal injury, and it's very debilitating. It affects me in very many ways. We'll go into that in a little bit. But first, I'd like to read you a petition that I filed on change.org that I have directed to the United States House of Representatives to see if we can get them to start looking into this spinal injury and get more research done and more education for the doctors. So here's the petition. Hello, I suffer from a spinal injury called arachnoiditis. It is a condition that affects the nerves inside the spinal cord. It causes the nerves to become inflamed and start sticking to each other and the inside lining of the cord. At this point, it causes the mid layer of the cord to become inflamed and compressed and starts impeding the flow of the cerebral spinal fluid. This layer is called the arachnid layer. Needless to say, it is a very debilitating and painful condition. This is all caused by spinal injury of several sorts. Accidents can be one of them. However, that being said, most can be or are caused by invasive medical procedures. These include, but are not limited to, epidurals during childbirth, spinal taps, myelograms, although less frequently since a change in the dye was made, epidural steroid injections, fusion and decompression surgeries, and other invasive procedures into the spine. It can also be caused by degenerative disc disease, constant compression of the disc, and a variety of other issues that involve the spine, such as spinal tumors, etc. Now that we have established the cause, let's get down to the nuts and bolts of why we are here asking for help. 1, we need more education in the medical community to bring this into a better light. 2, better access to pain management. 3, more help with filing for disability and or changes in the process so we don't become broke and after years quit fighting for what is ours. As I had stated earlier, it is a very debilitating and painful condition. We suffer day in and day out. We rely on our pain meds a great deal. But this is a small reason we are asking for help. The big reason is because it is underdiagnosed. Doctors are simply afraid to admit they made a mistake and continue doing so by doing invasive procedures that are the leading cause, even if they were not the one who made the mistake. We should be able to trust these professionals, not be leery of them. What happened to the oath they took to do no harm? Because of this underdiagnosing, many are left with no treatment and are treated much the same as lepers were. No one believes about our pain. People think we are just being lazy or it's in our heads. I assure you we are not, and it is not. We have an altered way of life. As this injury advances, it robs our nerves of the nutrients and oxygen they need to work right, which in turn causes more inflammation and the cycle continues. Eventually, the nerves become wrapped in scar tissue so severely we cannot walk and or have incontinence. We need this epidemic studied and brought out of the shadows. We need our doctors to not be afraid of it. I am in the beginning of the third and final stage. Just walking from my bedroom to the other end of the house causes me intense pain. There are so many others that are worse than me and have other conditions related to arachnoiditis. If you research it, you will see what it is exactly. We are almost always disabled from it, and yet, even though it is on the list of conditions for disability, we have to fight, sometimes for years. A large part of the reason for this is that doctors will call it something else other than what it is. We need help also because it is an invisible injury and we get treated horribly by some people. Divorces have occurred because of one spouse or another not being able to cope with the issue it causes us. It has torn families apart. It has ended friendships. It is a very difficult thing to live with. Unfortunately, some could not live with the physical and emotional toll and ended their life. Please, I implore anyone who listens to this, please go to change.org. I will provide the link and sign my petition. Share this video with your friends and family. Share it wherever you possibly can. We need to get as many signatures on this petition we can to get it in front of the U.S. House of Representatives to hopefully get them to look into it, get more research going on it. At this point, there's very little research into cures for it. So there is no cure. I'm at the point where even if there was now, it would not help me. Daily I'm in pain. There are days when I don't even want to get out of bed because it hurts so bad. I lose a lot of sleep because it wakes me up constantly. I suffer from debilitating electrical shocks caused by the cerebral spinal fluid being blocked off, and it can't flow. When it does that, electricity builds up in that area of the spine, in my case in the lumbar spine. It causes what feels like a cattle prod shock to my back. My legs will go straight rigid. Every single muscle of my leg will be solid until the electricity dissolves, until it's gone. But it continually builds up. There's very little therapy that can be done to help relieve this condition. It's a vicious cycle. When the nerves become inflamed, the scar tissue builds up around it, which in turn inflames the scar tissue. Once the scar tissue is formed inside, when you sit down, you stretch these nerves that normally will move back and forth freely when you sit down, stand up, etc. Because the scar tissue blocks it, you actually stretch it like elastic, which causes more inflammation. I also suffer from diabetic neuropathy, which affects my legs very badly and my feet. So add that to the nerve damage I already have, and it's bad. There's times when I lose continence. I rely on a wheelchair, a walker, or a cane, depending on how I'm feeling. If I know I'm going to be walking a great distance, I got to take my wheelchair. If I know I'm just going to be walking a short distance, I'll take either my cane or my walker. I cannot walk more than half a block before it starts hurting. If I do too much, I spend the next day or two in extreme pain. Unfortunately, at this point, the CDC has come out with new guidelines for opioids, which we rely on. And now doctors are starting to be afraid to prescribe these to us in the usual amount and are talking about cutting us back. This can't happen. As chronic pain sufferers, not just arachnoiditis sufferers, but other chronic pain conditions, this is a bad thing. This is another thing we need to get the government to rethink and go through their medical files and look at how many people who have chronic pain have actually, because they say it's an epidemic of accidental overdoses. I don't think that people like me or other people with arachnoiditis and chronic pain are that high a number in there. I think we're at the low end of that number, but they're still trying to take these pain meds away from us. I'm facing a surgery to put in what's called a spinal cord stimulator, which will block the pain signal, but only to a certain point. So I will still need my pain meds for what's called breakthrough pain. This is very horrible. Another part of my story is last year I got extremely depressed, and I was one of those ones that tried to end it. I'm a survivor. And because of that, I am here pushing for better understanding of this, for people to understand us that have this and other chronic pain conditions, to not think it's in our heads. Some people will see us walking one day and in a wheelchair the next day, and they think that we're faking it. Well, if you can still walk, then that's their thought. They don't think you're disabled. Well, they don't understand that after I walk, I come and sit down and pray that the pain goes back down. And this is daily. This is every hour, every minute of my day. I have to, when I wake up in the morning, decide which thing I can do without making myself hurt bad. This is a daily thing. This is like planning your schedule. I have to plan my pain. It's really rough. It's very emotional. It takes a big toll on you. I lose sleep. It wakes me up in the middle of the night. These electric shocks will literally push my body up off the bed. It hurts. And I ask you again, please go to change.org, sign my petition, share the petition, share this video with all your friends, family, anybody you can think of. Help us get this in front of the government. Thank you in advance